When I became CEO 3 years ago, I started with a vision, how I envisioned the organization, which was much more collaborative, more of a coaching culture, less command and control than maybe what I inherited. And a lot of that spoke to bringing in some coaching techniques, both from my executive team and how can we cascade that across the organization, and in a much more collaborative environment. And what we found from that is all the diversity of thought now coming into the decision-making process has really created more innovative solutions. And as the teams dialogue, the friendships and relationships form. And what surprised me most is they're learning from each other. So it's really turned out to be a real knowledge management framework just through the collaboration and remaining disciplined to it. Previously, with the command and control, it'd be a lot of one-offs. So maybe I'd meet with my CFO, and my COO would meet with his individual subordinates. And so now going to teaming, instead of meeting with one executive, I'll meet with a team of 6 to 12, depending on the situation. As that cascades down, they're doing the same. So what's happened with that is the whole team is getting the broader context of the discussion and the issues within each individual executive's span of control. And with that broader perspective and the involvement in the dialogue, we're just finding that everyone's becoming more aware across the organization. The collaboration is more effective, and the contribution. It's interesting how someone that may not have the subject matter expertise in a certain area has the opportunity to contribute their viewpoint, and we're just learning that, wow, there's a real power in that. And so we're just getting more innovation through the intentional, I guess, involvement of diverse experiences and thought. Jeff brought in what we call flow dialogue, where we keep the same principles, making sure everyone has a voice and is heard, but we get the spontaneity. If you've got an idea, you can express it, but you're still doing it respectful of the other people in the room and mindful that they may have a voice on that. So we established a couple principles that were consistent with what we already had established, and it just made us much, much more effective as an executive team. Here's 4 or 5 principles that are kind of the framework of any dialogue any team has. So whether it's circular dialogue or flow dialogue, whatever the process is, here's the principles we adhere to. And we wouldn't have been able to identify them without Jeff's presence and involvement with my team's meetings. And then what we've gone to is change awareness sessions across the organization, where now we're actually scoring. We'll have participants actually score us out and get an assessment of how effectively is this cascading down across the organization. It is getting down to every individual in our organization. So one of our principles is that leadership isn't a position, it's an attitude. And we want everyone to be an empowered leader with a voice that is heard. So if you take that where every associate is empowered and every associate has a voice that is heard, you've got to create some behaviors and some process to bring that to life. So when you look at the integrated teaming and a commitment to circular and flow dialogue, and making sure that you've got the leadership in place for adherence to that, that really is a way of behaving consistent with some of the principles and values in our vision. The title itself, Leaders Leading Leaders, because you get into leaders and followers, and everyone kind of leads and follows at a different time. And if you can really embrace the fact that everyone is a leader, and I think through a coaching approach, it's about kind of coaching each other, collaborating, learning from each other, but it's about each of us reaching our own individual potential. And I think that it's very consistent with what I've learned from Jeff and how he coaches me, and as that's cascaded across the organization, I think we finally got the tools and the approach for every individual to really realize their potential, and that's really how the organization wins.